Welcome to a new video and a new camera comparison between the Huawei Nova 10 Pro against its predecessor, the Huawei Nova 9. Both in the global version here, both with the same chipset, but with a slightly different camera setup. And we want to check this out, so let's get started. So here we have the camera setup on both, and despite the difference in the visual design of the cameras, they have the same camera sensors basically. 50 megapixel main RYYB sensor, 1/1.5 inch size, 8 megapixel ultra wide angle. We have a macro cam on the Nova 9 still that we don't have on the Nova 10 Pro because the ultra wide angle can take care of macro footage, and we have a 2 megapixel depth sensor on both as well. On the front we have a 32 megapixel front facing camera on the Nova 9, and on the Nova 10 Pro we have a 60 megapixel ultra wide angle camera, very high resolution, also a bit larger in size, and an 8 megapixel telezoom on the front facing camera as well. And I think we start off with the front facing videos, and then that's a specialty on both, switch directly to the main cams. So this is now the front-facing video on the Nova 10 Pro. The ultra-wide angle 60 megapixel 4K 30 at 0.8 times magnification. I can go to super ultra-wide, which looks like this. And even if I want to zoom in a little bit further, what I can do is go to 2 times zoom, which looks like this, which is switching to the 8 megapixel zoom lens here, also recording 4K 30. And if I want to, back to the 0.8 times, though sometimes it's losing a little bit the lip sync, so audio and video are out of sync a little bit when you switch between those cameras. What do you think about this quality here on the front-facing video camera? I think it's very, very fantastic. And what I can also do is switch to facing camera here. And very, very cool. During recording 4K 30 I can switch simply, and you can see stabilization is very, very good here indeed, and also the colors are good. Can also go to the ultra wide angle, and as you can see here, ultra wide angle, the colors are a bit more washed out, but stabilization is still good when it comes to the ultra wide angle on the back facing camera here. So, and now the front-facing video on the Huawei Nova 9, also 4K 30. I had to redo this shoot here because the first time it just froze the video, and now I noticed that too late, and I'm now redoing this shoot here. 32 megapixel, this is the front-facing video camera, 4K 30. We don't have any zoom options on the Nova 9, but since the newest Emotion UI 12 update, you have the ability to also switch to the main lens during recording, even if you're recording 4K 30, like I'm doing here right now. And we have the main lens, 50 megapixels, 4K 30, and no issues there with stabilization. Punchy colors, and if I zoom out now to the ultra wide angle, the colors are not as punchy anymore, but we have still a nice stable shot here on the Nova 9. What do you think about the colors, stabilization, and so on the Nova 9? So here the photos. On the left always the Nova 9, on the right always the Nova 10 Pro. We start off with the ultra wide angle. What we can see here, we have a bit of wider angle of view on the Nova 10 Pro, 16 millimeters instead of 18 millimeters that we have still on the Nova 9. We have a bit of a color difference, but also sharpness to notice immediately. We have a warmer kind of colors on the Nova 9. You can see it here also in the colors here and on the ground as well. On the Nova 10 Pro we can see sharper, a bit cooler kind of colors because it is like a bit of frosty, so it makes sense to have a bit cooler. And also the green here is a little bit better on the Nova 10 Pro. In general, also everything a little bit sharper, but sharpened up artificially, I would say. And maybe a little bit off on the lens that they improved as well. Autofocus lens, of course, and this helps a little bit with sharpening up everything a little bit better on the Nova 10 Pro. When it comes to the main lens, you can see again a bit of a color difference. We have a bit of more yeah, darker kind of colors, bluish kind of colors, I would say. Maybe magenta cast on the Nova 10 Pro, and on the Nova 9 a little bit brighter here. Overall, I think not much of a difference, but when we zoom in, we can see that the Nova 10 Pro had struggled with focusing because everything is like a little bit out of focus here, where the Nova 9 has no issues at all. When it comes to like, yeah, the dynamic range, I think they're both on par. Nothing much has changed here. I took another shot indoors to check out if there's a bit of difference in details in focusing. And when we check out here some books, for example, we can clearly see no, there's not much of a difference here. It's basically the same. They're using the same sensor. It's just like the Nova 10 Pro has probably a new revision of the sensor. You can see maybe slightly bit darker here, a bit lighter on the Nova 10 Pro, a bit more punchy on the Nova 9. But this is so close. There's not much of a difference in terms of sharpness, and yeah, it is basically the same. And also here my phone collection, you can see, yeah, they look the same. There's not much of a difference. Nothing big has changed here in between them. When it comes to the main lens, it's basically the same. When it comes to zooming in, we still have a bit of a color difference, a bit more bluish kind of colors on the Nova 10 Pro, and on the Nova 9 a bit more warmer kind of colors. When it comes to detail level here, this is 2x zoom, both not very good, but I think the Nova 10 Pro maybe slightly better here in processing, a little bit less this blurriness that we have on the Nova 9, a bit more details that you can still see, but it's very close. And when we come to the maximum zoom here on both, we can see the same kind of thing, a bit less warmer colors on the Nova 10 Pro. When it comes to detail level, yeah, maybe slightly bit more details. You can see those darker support rigs here on the chimney that you don't see so much on the Nova 9. Might be color difference as well, but it's like so hard to see, so not much of a difference here, not much of an improvement as well. Here again, close-up shots with the main cam. You can see you can get pretty close. I think I could have even get a bit closer with the Nova 10 Pro. When it comes to the detail level, again, first of all, color, a bit of a magenta cast on the Nova 10 Pro. I think Huawei can still improve this a little bit, but the colors are okay. We have nice sharpness, we have nice details here on the little ice spikes on the leaves. Very good indeed. Selfie camera, 32 megapixels versus 60 megapixels, but the 60 megapixels are binned down, but still we have sharpness. We don't have anything sharp here at all on the Nova 9. So it's completely unsharp for some reason on the Nova 9, and on the Nova 10 Pro we have, thanks to the autofocus and more megapixels, a little bit more sharpness for sure. And we can get even closer up if we want to, and still everything nice and sharp. A little bit maybe artificially sharpened up, but still very good. Let's go to close-up shots with the macro, super macro mode. The Nova 9 has a dedicated macro lens for this, 2 megapixels. This is what you can get. You can see you get it even closer. Bit of more details there than with the normal cam, but still nothing to write home about. The Nova 10 Pro, 8 megapixel ultra wide angle, can zoom in, and yeah, I can go to 100%. You can see more details here on this leaf for sure. So yes, definitely the macro capabilities on the Nova 10 Pro are far superior. When it comes to nighttime photography, low light, low light conditions here, I think they're both on par. We see a bit better processing on the Nova 10 Pro with the main camera. We can see some noise here on the Nova 9 still. A bit of more working on the Nova 10 Pro for sure, but less noise as well. The colors are a bit more towards the greenish kind of sides, a bit warmer again on the Nova 9, and a bit more punchy again, more contrasty. When it comes to the ultra low light, I couldn't see anything here. The Nova 9 seems to do a better job on first glance. When we zoom in, however, you can see details are lacking, it's noisy, it's not so great, but the colors are accurate. When I go to the Nova 10 Pro, it is much more sharper, less noisy for sure, better processed again, but the color is a bit, first of all, it's darker a bit, and towards green again here, especially where it should be the color of the Nova 9. So something that the Huawei team has to still work on is the color science in night mode for sure. Yeah, and that's basically it. Overall, I think the Nova 10 Pro, thanks to the autofocus front-facing camera, does a better job. The Nova 9, yeah, it feels like an increment update. It's not really one big generation update. I think it's an increment, little step forward on the Nova 10 Pro, where I see some issues still. Night mode with the colors here, sharpness and processing is on par on or better on the Nova 10 Pro, so it's like I expected it, but still I think the camera needs a little bit of updates on the Nova 10 Pro, a little bit still for getting really better than the Nova 9. So what do you think? Which one is the clear winner? The Nova 10 or the Nova 9? The Nova 10 Pro, to be exact here. They have basically the same camera setup on the back. So in terms of photography, there might be not so much difference. And especially the Nova 9 is so much cheaper to get than the Nova 10 Pro, almost half of the price that you can get it right now. I would say it's a no-brainer who is the winner here, but you decide for yourself if you like the selfie cam, the versatile selfie cam on the Nova 10 Pro a little bit more than the one on the Nova 9, because this is the highlight of the Nova 10 Pro. So what do you think? Write it down in the comment section. That's everything for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Until the next time, bye.